Coming up on the Week in Review. An arrest after an execution-style murder in Momence. The desperate search for Savannah Guthrie's mother. Citizens fight back over high energy bills in Indiana. Plus, celebrating 100 years of Black History Month. A Grammy win for a Gary native. And Jake is smashing grapes for wine. This is your Fox Chicago Week in Review.
Just over 24 hours ago, authorities launched a multi-agency search effort for that suspect. It included help from the FBI and the U.S. Marshal Service. Now, the Kankakee County Sheriff's Office is announcing the arrest of 47-year-old Julius Burks Jr. He was taken into custody this afternoon in the 6400 block of Rhode Island Avenue in Hampton as he was leaving his house. Burks is accused of killing 30-year-old Courtney Drysdale. Around 11 yesterday morning, Sheriff Mike Downey says she was opening up her business, The Line. It's a bar located on Illinois Route 114, just steps from the Indiana border. Police say Burks showed up wearing a neon yellow safety jacket and carrying a clipboard. They say he demanded money from the register before pulling the trigger, shooting Drysdale execution style.
Courtney was deeply loved, not only by her family and her young daughter, but also by the many patrons and friends whose lives she touched. This senseless act of violence has profoundly impacted our community, and we are fully committed to bringing the person responsible to justice.
Burks is being held in Indiana until he is transferred back to Illinois, where he will face charges. Officials say that it was surveillance video and tips from the community that helped lead to a quick arrest.
Police activity intensifying outside of the home of the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. It comes as the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie enters day 4. Police say there are signs of forced entry into the home. Today, her 3 children releasing a message via Instagram. Kaylee Schuyler joining us live in Tucson tonight with more on that message. Kaylee.
Hi, Scott. It was a tearful, nearly 4-minute-long video where Savannah talks about how her mom is funny and spunky and says she chooses joy every single day. She also talks about her mom's age, how she says she's 84, her mind is sharp as a tack, but says she can't even walk 50 feet by herself because of physical ailments and that she needs medication every single day. And now we're on the 4th day of this search for Nancy. And in this video, you hear Savannah address a ransom note. TMZ and a couple of local outlets say they received a ransom note, an email, and then turned it over to investigators. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says they're aware of it and they're taking all tips and leads very seriously. But this note reportedly demands millions in cryptocurrency in exchange for Guthrie. And the outlets say that the note also includes details about the crime scene and Nancy that are not public knowledge. But for now, the 3 siblings just say they want their mom back home.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her.
And it was around 4 o'clock local time that investigators pulled back up to Nancy's home and put crime scene tape up. And I was watching our camera that's on the ground. I'm currently located about 35 minutes away. And on the camera, I saw officers pull an object out of the home, and it looked like a pretty big object, but it was wrapped in paper, so I couldn't tell exactly what it was. And then after they removed that item, they took the crime scene tape back down. And this is all after investigators say they had fully processed the home and returned it back over to the family. So now we just have to wait for a news conference tomorrow from the sheriff to see what all of this was about tonight. Scott?
Well, Kaylee, we are hearing that President Trump spoke with the family. Is he planning to help them?
So President Trump announced earlier today that he had talked to Savannah on the phone, and this just about an hour ago, he posted on Truth Social that he had talked to her again, and he says he's making federal agents readily available to the family and local law enforcement to help bring Nancy back home.
It has been 18 years since the Lane Bryant murders, and Mike Hudak lost his sister Carrie in the attack. He's going to join us now to talk a little bit more about this. I mean, I think everyone here is so shocked, Mike, and I know your family is as well, that this has not been solved. 18 years. Have there been any significant developments as of late?
None that we've heard of. I think it's a simple case of somebody knows who he is, right? He's somebody's nephew, somebody's grandson, somebody's son. So until that's really addressed, I'm not sure that we'll ever find out anything.
Tell us a little bit about your sister Carrie, whom you lost in this horrific murder.
Sure. I mean, she was my best friend. She was a social worker at home at Flossmoor High School. Carrie and I probably talked, if not every day, every other day. I'd said this the other day. I knew she was good at what she did, but it really wasn't until her wake, the testament of people that showed up to pay the respects and tell my family how much she does.
Take us back to that day. What do you remember police telling you?
Oh, man. Blur, but it was from work today.
Mike's signal is cutting in and out. Mike, if you can pause for just a minute and restart, and we'll see if the signal's any better. Tell us again what you remember police telling you on that day.
Yeah, so I was with my mother at the time, and we ran up there because we had seen my sister's car in front of the store on TV, and we kind of got sent around to a couple hospitals because we had been told that if there were any survivors that they were sent there. So we got bounced around to a couple hospitals, and then were eventually redirected to the Tinley Park Police Department, at which time they told my mom and I that she had passed.
How has your family dealt with this? I mean, 18 years, it's a wound that never heals because you guys have never received any closure.
No, it's hard. I mean, I think about it every day. Both my parents have passed. I saw a huge chunk of them were taken away when that happened.
Right.
It's just, terrible.
Mike, we'll end with this. Do you think the suspect is still alive? And is there anything that you wish police would take a closer look at today?
So I've said this before, I look at it a little differently. I had to forgive and let go of that part of what happened because you never get the answer why. And even if you do get the answer why, it still doesn't make sense. So I don't give him the time of my life to even think about it. Of course, I want him caught and taken off the street so that no family has to go through this. But I don't give him a second thought at all. I have to believe the police are doing everything they can, because if they're not, then that really makes you question society because those are the ones that are there to help you. But like I said, until somebody releases some information, I'm not quite sure we'll ever find out.
Well, so many of us thinking about your family and the others that we lost that day. Thank you so much, Mike.
Well, you look at this and you think innocent, right? But it's what happened with this toy that really caused all of this harm. It happened in a matter of moments. A curious child, a microwave, and this squishy sensory toy marketed as harmless, meant for stress relief. But what followed was anything but harmless. Within seconds, the toy overheated and exploded, sending a fourth grader to a burn center. And we want to warn you tonight, the next picture is really hard to see. This is how 9-year-old Caleb Chabola's face looked after putting a Neato toy inside the microwave. He says his friend tried it first after seeing a TikTok video, and then he decided to try it one day.
My friend did it before, but she put it in for, she didn't get hurt, but I did it before, but nothing happened. But I accidentally did it again, and I put it in for 1 minute, and I meant to take it out before 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah, so all of this happened on January 20th. Whitney Grubb stepped into her garage to warm up the car. She was assuming that her son Caleb was inside heating up breakfast, but instead she heard a really loud scream. Caleb put a Neato sensory toy into the microwave for 40 seconds. When he opened the door, the gelatin-like filling inside exploded right onto his face. The company says the toy is designed for durability, made to resist tears and punctures during normal use. Some sources say inside is a PVA-based compound advertised as non-toxic and safe for children. Caleb was rushed to the emergency room, then transferred overnight to Loyola's Medicine's burn unit there, their burn center. Caleb later told his mother he learned about microwaving the toy from a friend at school, part of a trend fueled by viral videos. Loyola Medicine now says this is the 4th Neato-related burn case they've treated this year alone.
Definitely a lot better because some of the early pictures were definitely scary. We were worried about his eye, of course, which he was cleared by ophthalmology, which is great.
The material inside is so thick that it holds heat longer because it's thick, and it sticks, and so it stays on the skin longer. And that causes even more problems than, say, a similar temperature water that might slide right off.
Just think before you act, and think before when you're like putting something in the microwave, because you can only put food, and it's more like powerful than the oven and other stuff.
Very good advice, right? He would know best. We did reach out to TikTok and the makers of Neato. So far, we haven't heard back, but a good warning tonight, Sylvia and Terrence, for parents out there.
Yeah, good lesson for us.
Oh, they're angry, they're frustrated, they're really just worried about how they're going to make their next NIPSCO payment, which is why several people have been out here since the early afternoon making their voices heard and sending a direct message to NIPSCO President Vince Parisi. What makes this protest a little tricky is there's no sidewalk here, and you have Maryville police officers directing traffic and making sure that nobody stands out in the street, but there's really no way to get in front of NIPSCO headquarters other than to stand in the snow. But earlier today, we had a public hearing in Indianapolis, and this was an investigation into NIPSCO regarding their billing practices. And the company's under investigation from the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission for what's called billing discrepancies involving their automated gas meters, and the company allegedly giving no explanation to their customers for why this was happening. So several of our viewers in Northwest Indiana have been sending us their NIPSCO bills. They've been reporting that their bills have either doubled, even tripled over a year. And I spoke to some who are out here protesting right now. They told me it's impacted them so much, they're choosing between eating and keeping their heat on. Others tell me their NIPSCO bills are higher than their mortgage. If you had a message for the president of NIPSCO, Vince Parisi, what would it be?
It would be shame on you. It would be shame on you, sir. I know you don't have to worry about heat. I know you don't have to worry about eating. I know you don't have to worry about medicine. But everybody else here does.
And you need to wake up, buddy. I don't know what you're doing, but this is not right. I don't know where you're at. You have a little office over there. What do you think he has? I'm not sure, But, yeah, this is just ridiculous.
As you hear a lot of people not mincing words about how they feel about the recent NIPSCO bill, so I've once again reached out to the company for comment, as well as a request for an on-camera interview with Vince Parisi, the company president. I'm still waiting to hear back. But the other thing that we kept hearing today is demands or ultimatums. So the man you're hearing speaking behind me is Kevin Mejia. We've had him on Fox Chicago quite a bit. He's one of the first people who's reached out to us about their high NIPSCO bills here. And some of the demands that they were talking about is for the company to take action right now. Otherwise, they said there are going to be more planned protests, not only in Northwest Indiana, but he's calling on the nation to do protests right outside here of company headquarters here in Maryville. The other thing is that they were talking about is to vote state lawmakers out of office, especially the ones depending on where they stood on the NIPSCO issue, because one of the things that they talked about in Indianapolis was giving them some financial relief and needing that right away. But right now, the Republican-controlled legislature in Indianapolis decided to not take action on that for now. But they said that they're going to be out here until there was a planned protest until 6 o'clock tonight. But just heard from Kevin Mejia saying that they're going to be out here all night doing speeches, doing Facebook Lives, what have you. But that is is what's happening right now, but it's been a peaceful protest outside here in Maryville, Indiana.
Coming up, the Field Museum celebrates Black history. Dan Hampton compares Ben Johnson's Bears and the '85 Bears, and the battle over the former Mars Candy site.
That's a lot of weight to carry at such a young age, but I'm here today. I'm alive and present.
Voice once reduced to a headline, finally being heard in full. For decades, the world knew her only as a shadow, a Jane Doe.
Now at 41 years old, Chicago native Roshana Landfair is stepping forward, telling her story through her new memoir. For the first time, she's sitting down with a local journalist, lifting the veil and telling the story in her own words. Tia Ewing has more.
When did you realize, after all of the abuse that you endured at the hands of R. Kelly, that you were put on public display by way of a video? When did you realize your face was shown and people around the city of Chicago had seen this tape of you?
I was about 17 years old. I was devastated when I found out. I was very scared. I did not want that person to be me.
Did you ever expect that that tape would be seen? I mean, that's child pornography.
Right.
Did you ever expect that tape to be seen in the public? Did you even know he was recording?
I did know he was recording because that was one of, mostly all of his sex acts were recorded. So yes, I did know. I didn't know exactly what was happening because it took a while to know that I was being fed champagne while that action was happening. And it took a really long time for me to view the tape because I never wanted to see what other people saw and the mockery they made of me. So when I finally did, I didn't even know that I was drinking at age 14 when those things were happening.
What made you come out now?
There never would have been a good time. But as an adult woman, as a mother, it was very important to me to not live in shame or hurt and just turn my pain into purpose.
Why are you getting emotional? What are you feeling?
So many people still blame me for what took place. If you look at my 14-year-old picture, think about your daughter, your friend, your goddaughter, your niece, and put yourself in that person's shoes and understand that that's a lot of weight to carry at such a young age. But I'm here today, I'm alive and present.
When you say people blame you, they're blaming you in 2026?
I'm still getting death threats. I'm still being harassed. I'm still the R. Kelly girl who got urinated on. You know, there's no mercy in that, but I'm not trying to convince those people of otherwise. I'm just here to do the healing for people who have gone through similar situations as me. It took a lot of forgiveness of myself, the people around me, and just really confronting who I really was. Once I knew how to take the blame back for myself and understand I was 14 and this person was 18 years older than me, I no longer blamed myself. You know, when you become a mom and a parent, you see things differently, and there's no way that that should have happened to me.
It shouldn't have happened. In your book, Sparkle's name is mentioned maybe over 100 times. Mm-hmm. What do you make of what she's come out and said as a result of your interview and your book coming out?
I just wanted to be clear that I don't look at my Aunt Sparkle as grooming me for Robert. That is not my interpretation of what happened. She did advise me on certain things, but Robert groomed me, not her. And also, it's very complex, her role in the entire situation. Everybody was focused on what they wanted and what they needed out of the situation. And I do appreciate the fact that she did reach out to authorities and she was on my behalf, but it's just a lot more complex than what was explained.
Understood. What is your family dynamic now with everything that's happened in your family? Because you do outline some of the things that have happened in your family. What is that dynamic like for you?
It's pretty segregated. You know, a lot of my family members are reaching out to me, saying how proud they are of me, how much they love me. We do have strong relationships, and they have apologized. And I've also had to apologize to them because it works both ways. Like, I was not perfect in the situation either. So we're all a work in progress, and I'm praying that this book brings complete healing to my family.
Centennial year for the celebration of Black History Month, and the Field Museum is marking the milestone.
After all, it started here. Tonight, performances were rooted in legacy, style, and soul. Music, dance, poetry, shoe fashion, taking the stage in style. The celebration called Soul to Soul, celebrating 100 years of excellence.
We are celebrating the 100-year anniversary of Black History Month, which of course kicked off right here in Chicago, like all great things.
This is a Field Museum Black History Month performance, part of an entire month of events. Each group representing classic and contemporary Chicago traditions.
Ayodele drum and dance. Some of the dancing that they'll actually be doing was inspired in West Africa. So a lot of the footwork that we do here in Chicago actually has roots in West Africa. And so we wanted to make that connection to the city.
House, tap, stepping, African diasporic dance, and praise dance on display. Young scholars also honored with their elders, bridging the past, present, and future together one step at a time. Visitors also did arts and crafts and viewed the museum's collection of footwear from the Africa collections and fashion.
We just wanted to bring the community together to celebrate this momentous occasion, celebrate our scholars in the city, and just uplift, connect the community, and have a great time.
The museum hoping everyone walks out inspired this Black History Month. And by the way, she said they're going to have events all month and all year.
Nice.
To celebrate.
We are celebrating the 40-year anniversary of the '85 Bears winning Super Bowl 20, and Dan Hampton is joining us.
The really cool part about this anniversary is, for the first time in my lifetime since we played in the Super Bowl, not only I, but a lot of other people believe we have a team that is on a trajectory to possibly go and play and win a Super Bowl again. So it only increases the excitement.
We had Peggy Kaczynski on the show recently, and she said she sees a lot of similarities between Ditka and Ben Johnson and their personalities, kind of how they're not afraid to push the limits a little bit more. She's like, they can dazzle you at the podium, they can give it right back to you. They kind of have this edge to them as well. Do you see that at all?
Well, we never saw Ditka with his shirt off, but I will tell you, they both are alpha males. They both expect excellence and accountability. That's what you have to be. We haven't had it forever. We've had a bunch of guys trying to be friends with the players. To hell with that. You've got to hold their feet to the fire and say, this is what you have to do if you want to play for me. And those are the parts of the equation that Ben Johnson understands and he brings. The one thing is, again, Ditka had been to a number of Super Bowls with Dallas, so he had a certain belief in, his plan. Ben Johnson, to my knowledge, I don't think he's been a part of a team that's gone to a Super Bowl, but you can tell the reason he came here to Chicago wasn't for the money or a better job. He wants to be a part of a Super Bowl, and I think it's going to happen for him pretty quick.
If the proposal that's on the table right now gets the green light, we're looking at close to 500 residential units, a mix of senior living, townhomes, and apartments. But some neighbors say they want community investment instead. Its site has a sweet past, but proposed redevelopment plans for the old Mars Candy Factory are leaving a bitter taste for some residents.
This is your Mayberry of Chicago. This is Galewood. It has always been known as the suburb within the city. The community has spoken, and so we're just asking for someone to listen to us.
The Galewood plant was shuttered in 2024 after 95 years. A major production site for Snickers, Three Musketeers, and Milky Way bars. The factory long served the community with jobs.
They've been a great neighbor, and they've always been there for the community. This is your first spot when you trick or treat.
But now it's entering a new era. McCaffrey Interests was chosen as the developer for the 20-acre site. The former admin building, a Spanish Revival-style structure along Oak Park Avenue, is landmarked and will be protected. As for the rest of the property, its future is up for debate. McCaffrey Interests held 3 input meetings in December, announcing its housing proposal, but some residents are expressing concern.
They didn't want to hear that we would like to have something different than more housing. We have developments at Sears, we have developments at US Bank, And now we have this development. We recently fought a development at McDonald's. So there's a lot of housing coming in here. And the community is kind of concerned about the impact, the density, the safety, the streets, the parking.
The Galewood Montclair Community Organization is asking for a referendum, along with parking and traffic studies. Instead of large-scale housing, residents are calling for neighborhood resources.
We need a library. We need a youth center. The mayor talk about get them off the street. This would be a great location for a apprenticeship program, sports program. My main concern is let's take care of the kids.
29th Ward Alderman Chris Taliaferro said in part, it is important that we continue to meet over the next several months as a community and with McCaffrey interests to express what best represents and would be beneficial to the Galewood neighborhood. That is the project that will ultimately garner my support and recommendation. As of now, we are not at that point. The Galewood Montclair Community Organization is holding a meeting of its own this Wednesday. Meantime, we've reached out to McCaffrey Interests and Mars Wrigley for statements, but did not immediately hear back.
Well, Terrence and Sylvia, the U of I chapter of the College Republicans has been put under a Title VI investigation, according to a statement from the university this afternoon. It stems from a post that's since been taken down from their Instagram. This is a post where the stated goal was to support ICE and immigration enforcement. We're not showing you the post right now because it is graphic. But it was a cartoon of the instance before, well, there it is, we are showing you, the instance before the shooting death of Alex Pretty, with an ancient pointing a gun at Pretty's head while he's on the ground, with the caption, quote, "Only traitors help invaders." Now, we reached out to a representative of the group, and they agreed to answer written questions. They say, quote, "The image was AI generated and used as symbolic political imagery to convey support for law enforcement and national sovereignty. It was not intended to depict a real event individual, or to endorse harm or violence toward anyone." Now, the image was removed to prevent misinterpretation while we reviewed concerns that were raised. Its removal is not an admission of wrongdoing. Now, in a statement response from the university, a spokesperson at U of I said, quote, "Hate and intolerance are not aligned with our university values. We condemn rhetoric or imagery that appears to glorify violence or demean individuals or groups based on identity or beliefs. Such rhetoric does not reflect the values of dignity, respect, and care that we expect from the members of our community. We strive to be a campus where every member of our community has a transformative and positive experience." Now, this statement goes on to say that student organizations are independent from the university, but they do still have to comply with campus policies. And this, again, after this controversial Instagram post went viral this weekend, the College Republicans removing it. We do want to credit the Daily Illini for screen grabbing that post before it was removed. Terrence?
Coming up, Gary, Indiana gets more music notoriety. Chicago filmmakers and their new parody. And prepping for the Southside Parade.
Had this song stuck in my head all day. Freddie Gibbs finally won a Grammy. He got nominated before and it didn't happen, but this time it did. Tia caught up with him.
Tia, where was he when this happened? How cool is that?
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's even more cool because this is one of those songs like that's kind of stuck in my head on repeat anyway. But you asked me, where was he? He was in LA walking his dogs when the news hit. The rapper and actor says he's been grinding for 15 years. The song was already on the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. When Gibbs got on the track, it took off even more.
Never running out, Porsches and them Hummers out. Money showers called my account and I spent the dumb amount.
Out here on the West Coast. So, I was just walking my dog and then I got, my phone just started blowing up and I was just like, oh man, we got it. So it was, it was an honor and a pleasure to, be on that song with Leon. I've been working with Leon since I want to say the better part of 2014.
So from the Steel City to center stage, Freddie Gibbs makes history, becoming the first rapper from Gary, Indiana to win a Grammy. The win came from a 54-second verse on Mutt Remix, proof that one moment can change everything. The track appears on Leon Thomas III's Grammy-winning album Mutt, and that project didn't just make noise, it made history, winning Best R&B Album of the Year and becoming the first sophomore album by a solo male artist to do so since D'Angelo's Voodoo. Music runs deep for Gibbs. His father was part of the Chi-Lites, and after a previous Grammy nomination, this win puts him alongside Gary icons Michael and even Janet Jackson, and he's not slowing down. Gibbs is heading overseas on tour and now appears on the big screen in the film Night Patrol. Still, no matter how far that spotlight reaches, Gibbs says his heart and his work remain rooted in Gary.
It's a real blue-collar, family-knit town, you know what I mean? A lot of our families came from, like, you know, Mississippi, Alabama, and, like, down south. That, you know, I know that's the story of my family. Like, you know, we definitely migrated from the south to work in the steel mills. And, you know, most of my family members were steel mill workers. My mother worked in the post office for 30 years. So I think, you know, if anything, you know, Gary gave me definitely a blue-collar mentality that, you know, that's carried me through the industry.
Now, Gibbs says his Grammy trophy will have a home at Gary's Hard Rock Casino. Mayor Eddie Melton says details for when that will happen are still in the works. Of course, he just won this yesterday. But the rapper and actor isn't stopping there. Gibbs' next goal is to build a farm right in Gary, Indiana.
Comically bad movies are a guilty pleasure for so many of us, and a new film is taking that sentiment to heart. Comedians William Adams and the icon Damon Williams put a satirical spin on the trend of watching bad movies. They are joining us here in the studio to tell us more about their film, To Be Movie. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. Yeah, we have been cracking up. I have to ask you, like, when I say comically bad, immediately my top two would be like Baps, or you know, I'm still like saying like making my way downtown because of white chicks, you know. For you all, what would be your top, you know, comically bad movie?
I go with Airplane if you're gonna go way back.
Yeah.
Airplane.
You know, movies like that. You know, the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah. There's a long line of them, and they become classics. Things that we want to, you know, keep watching.
Naked Gun was more like a satire piece.
Well, that's why I picked that because this is a satire piece.
Yeah, this is yeah.
Let's talk more about To Be Movie.
And it's Tube E, the word T-U-B-E dash E.
Yeah, and there's a reason why we need to make that very clear.
Indeed.
Yeah. Tube E.
Yeah, we don't want them calling me.
And
Tell me about it.
It's the Fox family, but tell about the movie.
Yeah, the movie is a satirical piece that basically takes what streaming culture does, which is record bad parts of movies and then stream them online. I mean, show them online, and then it's for the laughs, it's for the likes or whatever.
It's a matter of, like, continuity is a term where you're in a film, and if people don't have things set, like you might see a person walk in with a blue shirt, and then he comes out the building with a white shirt, and it's like the continuity is off. And some of those independent films don't correct it because they don't have the budget. So
what we did was lean into the joke. So we have people actually doing that, and the actors are in on a joke, so the audience can laugh with us instead of at us.
I'm looking at a little bit of it right here. Tell me how long it's taken you to get it to this point.
2 years. It's been 2 years. Yeah,
we shot it 2 years ago, and he's found a home for it on Plex, which is a streaming app, which is free, and it debuts this Friday. And you can go on Plex app and download it and watch it and laugh. Because we put so many, and Chicago's own legend, Dale Givens is in the movie, comedian B. Cole is in the movie. Will is the director and writer. Yeah, he's not the comedy guy, as you can tell. But he's funny. And whoever's working the camera, stay up above right around my shins, because my ankles are ashy.
I was going to run and go get your lotion,
I got on short socks.
But we only had a quick weather hit before we got over here, so it just had to be what it is, you know?
My wife's going to be like, you went in there with them ashy ankles? Yes, I have the ash.
We didn't have time to help you.
But you got to see this movie. It was very creative. So we were just watching something dumb, and he called me up, man, that's a movie. And then he's so quick with putting stuff together and getting it done.
And he was saying that he was talking to his wife, and his wife was like, yeah, y'all should do something like that. And I was like, okay, well, I already had an idea. So he's like, I'm in, just call me, let me know when you're ready. So, and
my wife loves classically bad cinema. Like, she watches the Maverick Channel day in and day out. Yeah, exactly.
All right,
yeah,
you had to give us some context there.
But this is bad on purpose. So when you watch it, you're laughing. And the cool thing about this, you have to watch it more than once, because you miss some of the jokes because you were laughing through other jokes, which was one of the things that made me upset, because I'm watching people watch it.
The screeners, you know, they laughing so hard at the bit.
And I'm like, oh, y'all missing
It's
a whole another joke.
Tell me, I mean, in this vein, streaming would be good because you all are able to do a project like this and put it there. Do you see streaming be all good, or do you see some areas where there's some drawbacks to streaming?
Well, I personally prefer the movie-going experience, but it's been priced so out of pocket, that a family of four can't really go see a movie. So now, thank God for streaming. Yeah. But most films should be seen in the theater first.
I agree.
Yeah, because it's the communal aspect, especially laughing. You know.
And if you think about how the internet, or actually these apps like Facebook, Instagram, they'll have somebody posted up there watching the movie with you to give you that experience, and it takes away from that. But if you have us in the audience of a theater laughing, and I don't know you, but you get that joke. You know, it's like
it's a communal experience. So for me, it's the instant feedback too, because I'm used to live audiences. So you prefer to have people watching your film and you see their reaction to your joke. So go to the movie theater, people. But in the meantime, go to Plex.
February 6th, which is Friday.
Yes.
And you'll see Tubi movie.
Okay, and I know you have some other things that are working right now.
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm at Riddles this weekend with TK Kirkland, and I'll be at City Winery February 19th. Just got that in.
Listen, I want you to have time to.
Thank you.
We want to go support you.
I have some lotion on that day, too.
Please, I might send, listen, I won't let you walk out the door without a little bit of lotion on. We'll work on that in the commercial break, everybody. Sorry, I'm a bad host. 9:37.
This is the 48th annual event, and this year's Grand Marshal is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. The nonprofit was created in honor of New York firefighter Stephen Siller.
Tunnel to Towers was born out of the tragedy of 9/11. On that fateful morning, New York City firefighter Stephen Siller had just finished his shift in Brooklyn. He was on his way to Staten Island to play golf with his brothers when he got word over his radio that a plane had hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center. He immediately called his wife Sally, said, "Call the brothers, tell them I'll be in later. I got to go back to work." He went back to his firehouse to join his unit, which had already been dispatched. So he grabbed his gear, threw it in the back of his truck, and he drove to go into Lower Manhattan. When he got to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, it was already closed for security purposes. Undeterred, Stephen put on 60 pounds of firefighter gear and ran the 1.7 miles through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel into the South Tower of the World Trade Center to do whatever he could to help. The tower collapsed. Stephen's body was never recovered. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation makes this promise. If you are a member of our first responder community, or if you're a member of our military, and you kiss your children goodbye in the morning and you don't make it home from your shift, Tunnel to Towers Foundation will provide your family with a mortgage-free home.
Over the past 25 years, that foundation has provided more than 1,700 mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families across the nation, including former Chicago police officer Carlos Yanez Jr., who was critically wounded in the August 2021 shooting that left his partner Ella French dead. And keeping with the honoring of first responders and recognizing 25 years since the 9/11 attacks, the Southside Irish Parade also selected St. Christina Parish as the 2026 parade honoree. Many of Chicago's first responders and recipients of the Tunnels to Tower call this parish home. The Mount Greenwood Church is also celebrating its centennial. The Southside Irish Parade will be held March 15th. It kicks off at noon at 103rd and West.
Coming up, making wine for your Valentine, what it takes to prep the field for the big game, and a teenager with a voice for opera.
All right. If you haven't heard it yet,
her background.
If you can't tell from what's behind us, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. If you haven't made plans yet, we've got you covered. Take your partner maybe to a wine-making experience. Jake is over at Wild Blossom Meadery and Winery to get a closer look.
That's right, guys. 10 days. You have 10 days until Valentine's Day. And listen, anybody can order a bottle of wine at a restaurant. It takes a special someone to make that bottle of wine. And that's what their Valentine's Day winemaking experience is all about. You get dinner for two, but more importantly, you get the entire winemaking, wine blending experience. And let's be honest, guys, you know a huge part of that experience is the mashing of the grapes. So we're going to show you what it takes to do this. We've got Regina, who's in the process of doing it, and we've got Greg Fisher, who's the owner out here. Greg, one thing that we do want to emphasize to people at home is that the wine that they are making is not from the grapes that you're. This is just kind of a fun experience.
Yeah,
for
we
people that
actually
gets to come out
make a grappa out of this.
Yeah, so you're not having. This is not going to be your wine, whenever you. But it is a part of the. It could be if you really want it. You know, God help you. But but it is a part of the experience. People get to try that. Now, I feel like people have seen this a lot in pop culture, whether it be viral videos or I Love Lucy. Yeah. But for someone who's never done it before, can you walk me through the process of what happens?
First, we have to have our stopping gear. So everybody gets a little stopping gear, so a little there. So you want to pop your stopping.
I'm sorry, are those fairly standard when it comes to grape stopping?
Yes, everybody gets some stopping gear
has several
here.
Pairs of those. I think well done. well done.
Now, the thing is to stop every grape. So we're looking for the juiciest couple for
So it ends up being a competition with all the couples that are going to be out here for
so
Valentine's
the couples will be mounting a stopping bucket together.
Okay.
And which other couple?
If that's not love on Valentine's Day, Greg Fisher, I don't know what is. All right, show me the process.
So basically, you need to stomp on the grapes and kind of break
I urge you to not create a new viral video, Greg Fisher.
Yeah, don't fall. Actually, we usually hold on each one. And
wow, it is a whole process.
And you got to stomp every grape because if you leave a grape behind, you're leaving juice behind.
The end of the experience whenever people are coming out here, usually right before dinner, right?
And then the winners will go home with a fabulous prize and get their.
Look at that.
So this is.
I know, guys, back in studio,
takes a lot of work.
you were. It looks like, for the love of God, Greg, do not fall on live television. I do not want to be a part of a viral video. For people who want to come out for this experience, tell people. I mean, there's still. You guys have sold tickets since we've been out here, which means you're running low on tickets. Tell people because it's a winemaking, it's a dinner for two. Tell people where they can get more information.
And if they do miss it, we do winemaking classes almost every weekend. But,
and where can people find information on that?
If they go to our website, wildblossommeadery.com, and getting these grapes all stomped up really good.
All right, guys. It is it's the audio. Listen, it's a whole experience, guys. Whether it's the stomping of the grapes, whether it's the wine making, the wine blending, or the dinner for two, it is the perfect Valentine's Day experience out here in the Beverly neighborhood. Now, listen, guys. All morning long, you've been asking me, is Jake going to do
come on,
wine
Jake.
stomping?
Right.
And listen, I get a lot of very kind messages from our viewers, but at no point has anyone ever said, Jake, we'd like to see your feet. So because of that, I'm going to do you all a favor and toss it back to you in the studio.
Have you ever tried?
Sorry, I can't hear you. IFB's running out.
Okay, excitement is building ahead of football's biggest night, Sunday. But as people across the country start stocking up on, snack food and stuff, crews are busy getting the field at Levi Stadium in tip-top shape, and experts this year are using a special machine, it's called the Beast, to test the safety of the field. Felipe Alader is here to talk about how the Beast works. He's a senior researcher at BioCore, which is the company behind this technology. Felipe, thank you for being on the program. Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so run us through. What exactly is the Beast?
So the Beast is a machine that is designed to test for traction, in particular the interactions, the forces generated when the NFL players' cleats are engaged with the playing field. So that's a key movement in American football, and that type of movement is crucial to the game for the athletes to make their cuts, their starts, their stops. They need a certain amount of grip, of traction to play, but not too much and not too little. Too little traction can result in slips. Too much traction can contribute to injury and undesirable outcome. So the Beast is a machine that is designed with the NFL playing conditions in mind, and it helps us put numbers to that traction interaction between the player and the surface.
Got it. So how exactly does it work? I see what look like some things on the bottom of the machine that actually go down into the field. Are they like taking samples there for moisture and that kind of thing? How's it work?
Not necessarily. That is a general technical representation of a biomechanical lag with an NFL cleat form in the bottom. So that cleat is going to lower down to the surface with the same amount of vertical forces as the NFL players put down when they're playing. Once the cleat is loaded onto the surface, we're going to twist or pull that cleat, and those two those two motions, the rotational traction or the linear translational traction, those are the ones that are of interest to us, and those are the ones that are being measured for the forces that can contribute to consistency, playability, and ultimately player safety.
Okay, so let's just say, for example, that the beast is doing its thing on the field and it notices a problematic area. Then what happens after that?
That's a very good question. So the beast is one piece of the puzzle of a much larger ecosystem for surface testing, surveillance, and monitoring. The beast is actually not in use just for the Super Bowl. The NFL has deployed resident beasts at certain stadiums, and we continue to increase that support for the league. And the goal for the beast measurement is to have a consistent monitoring of the fields, to be able to identify undesirable trends coming before a problem actually happens. So it's a very powerful tool that can help us predict a certain traction outcome based on the test numbers. So number one, it puts numbers to something that is touch and feely, which is the playability of a field. And the second thing is you can start predicting outcomes based on the numbers you measure with the beast.
Ah, interesting. Okay. And what would you say to the folks who are like, okay, well, hey, nothing can replicate the circumstances of an actual game, and why not just host scrimmages there with players that are about the same size and weight as NFL players? And could you get the same info that way?
I think not so much. So the Beast is an objective measurement tool. So it has an incredibly advanced data collection system, something that a human is not able to report from just the subjective experience of playing. And the second thing, we don't want to expose humans to those types of conditions. The Beast is a very powerful tool that will generate loads that could be potentially injurious to players. So that's why it's such a useful, powerful tool.
Makes sense. Now, how long, I'm curious how long the Beast has been around. Is this new this year? You said the NFL is kind of deploying it in other stadiums, or has it been in the works for a while?
The Beast has existed for a while. The original development took place over 10 years ago, and it was intended as a laboratory research method. So we used the original Beast and the original method in the laboratory more so than on field. In recent years, we've redeveloped that methodology into a portable mobile package, which is what you see on screen now. That specific package is capable of going to stadiums and testing the actual surfaces that players play on, as opposed to a laboratory sample. You can't replicate the level of usage of an NFL stadium, games and operational needs from a stadium. That cannot be replicated on the laboratory. So I'll give you an example. If you want to test helmets or cleats, you can get something off the shelf, bring it to the laboratory and test it. But if you want to test an NFL field, you're limited. So you have to go to the field to test. That's what propelled the redevelopment of the Beast into this current package, along with making it better, safer, and more user-friendly, so you don't rely on specialized engineering skill sets to run the device. So this is a device that is being used by any stadium staff around the league today.
All right. Very cool, Felipe Alda here. It sounds like, for hockey, the Zamboni now has a little competition now from the football side. I like it. Felipe Alda here. Thank you so much for running us through that. It's fascinating stuff.
So excited about this next segment here. It's a voice that has grabbed the attention of the internet. Kai Rutledge, only 13 and just turned 13, okay? He's gone viral for his incredible performances. Someone reached out to me and said, he is a prodigy. You have to hear him in person. So he's here, along with the Emmy-winning, Grammy-nominated president of United Voices, Chicago, Josephine Lee. Love having you in studio. And one proud mama, Jennifer. Thank you so much for being here, all three of you.
Thank you.
It's an honor. Let me start with you, Josephine.
Yes.
And, you get tons of young people who come through your doors. How do you know one kind of stands out?
I mean, you are going to witness an extraordinary voice. I mean, as you know, we serve 4,000 children in all zip codes, and we've been around for 70 years. But, when you find that special gifted singer who has the power to transcend boundaries, this is it.
And you've got some things going on for Black History Month. Tell me about that quickly.
Yes, please come join us February 24th and 25th. We're at Congress Auditorium Theater this year. Tickets are available online at unitingvoiceschicago.org. And of course, we have a ton of events throughout the year.
All right, and that means that there are some other folks out here who are going to say, I want my kid joining them, especially after you hear Kai. But Jennifer?
Yes.
How much of a transformation has this all been? Like, how did you even know, wait, this isn't just a kid screaming around the house. Like, he's got something.
Yeah, so when he was young, around 5, he has this little guitar, it looks bigger than him, but, and then he was strumming it and he made up a song. And when I was listening, I was like, this sounds good. And so he was like 5, and then by the time he turned 9, I found Uniting Voices looking for a choir, and they showed up, and I was like, oh, wow, what's this? And yeah.
The rest is history. It's still living history. You're still making history, Kai. How are you taking all of the new attention?
Well, it's
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Right. I'm just thankful that a lot of people get to hear my voice and, well, be inspired by it.
Yeah. What do you like to do outside of music?
Well, I'm actually a calligrapher. Well, I take the time to write things down, you know, and especially in beautiful cursive.
Well, listen, so that means you're just talented in so many ways. The adults are going to scoot out. We're going to let you step up and do your thing, okay?
Okay.
Take it away.
Sei bella, più bella stasera, Mario. Splende un sorriso di stella negli occhi tuoi blu. Anche se avverso il destino domani sarà.
This has been your Fox Chicago Week in Review. See you next week.